All right, guys, here we are, Keystone Big Show, Dallas, Texas, 2018. We're here with Air Designs at their booth. In the background, you can see building this 2018 F-150. We're about to do the daytime running light modules. As you can see, this vehicle's front fascia comes included with integrated daytime running light modules. They've included this handy module. It'll take care of all of our features. On here, we're going to have a negative and a positive battery connections. We have a 12-volt switch, and we have an activation circuit. So I'm going to jump in the truck here and I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to get this in. This will work always for the 2018s. Nice and simple and makes your life easy. So obviously we're going to start with the battery. I like to put my little module down in here beside the battery. There's a nice little notch down here, it'll fit. I've previously fed up my wires coming from those lights. Predetermined sockets, they've been routed up in a safe manner and kept nice and tight. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug these sockets into our module. That part's ready to go. I'm just going to toss those off to the side, toss this off to the side. I'll show you what we're going to do with that later. As far as these wires, I like to come around the back of the battery. Nobody needs to see them or anything like that. So we're going to come right around the back. Top of your battery. Going to find a 10 mil on the tensioning bolt here. We're going to hook our ground up. Killer application being that we're in a show. I have this disconnected. We're going to have to hook this up when we leave. But that's going to stay underneath there. This bolt's going to tighten down and hold that battery terminal. So it's seeing ground right now. It's just not seeing a battery. We're going to do our positive over on the other side. What I like to do is turn that positive clip around so that that wire is going to end up following back the same way as the rest of the connectors. Tighten it up. We'll bend there. Put our boot back on. That connection's out of the way. This connection's out of the way. Now, as far as our switch 12 volts, what we're looking for is down here you have an air conditioning pressure switch. And on this pin, there's 3 wires. There's a yellow, a green, a brown with an orange, and a white with a brown. What we're after is the yellow-green wire. Right. Now you can unplug that plug and do your connection there because you can see the wire. Personally, I can watch this wire flows right up into here, and I've already made 2 connections in this area, so why not? Let's just open this up a little bit, play surgery, and there's our wires. So we're going to pull this out. I'm going to separate it so that I can gain access to what I want. So again, I like to shorten my wires up. Keeps things clean. There's no sense in leaving that extra wire in there. That extra wire has been put there as a courtesy from Air Designs and Ostrom should you need to go to other vehicles. One of the biggest mistakes people make is leaving all that spaghetti in there and it just looks like snot. So you can see I've made my connection here. Again, I'm doing the twist and tape. Solder if you are able to, and if you have the ability, you cannot hurt yourself with solder. So we're going to get our electrical tape. Again, we're going to get our wires back to where they were safely, insulated, protected, connected. I'm going to take the extra time to put this wire back into its casing. Just open up that split loom a little bit. So we've taken care of our negative, positive, and switch 12 volts. What I like to do is add a little bit of tape to this wire because I am going to be running it across the truck underneath this cowl. Just provides a little extra protection, as well as should you catch a glimpse of it, you're just going to see a little black wire, not this ugly green thing. So I just do a little bit of wire management here just to make sure that things are clean. I like to stay under, not over the factory wiring, so I'll take the time to pull this underneath that big ground wire. We're going to come across, and what we're going to do is we're just going to get it up underneath here. It's more than enough to keep our wire out of harm's way, out of a visual way. And when I put a zip tie on both sides, it's going to keep it nice and tight. We're not going to have to worry about that. Again, going underneath things. We're going to come right across here, staying underneath this cowl, and away we go. Now, here's my tip of the day. Air Designs will tell you to remove this air box, remove some stuff, and you can get down here and access the plug. Some guys will take the headlight out to access the plug. I'm kind of lazy, and I realized one day that I could stick my arm, if you get up on a stool, and come in above the other side of the air box, and stick your arm all the way down and around. And once you're down here, you can feel the sockets for the headlight. You unplug, the two sockets that you feel at the headlight. There's going to be a brown one and a black one, which I'll show you in a second. And you feed them up through this hole to your hands. Now I have the wires right here. And the wire we're looking for is this little blue-green guy right here. So what we're looking for is this blue wire with the green stripe. Again, we're going to open that up. We're going to have our green wire. Now keep in mind...
So you just cut your wire back so you have no slack and it looks clean?
Like yep, nice and clean. Now here, good point to bring up. If you followed everything I did, you just said, hey, this guy's been making his wires nice and short. Cool, let's hook that up right there and make it beautiful. Great, right there, that would be awesome. But you know what's going to happen? When we go to try and plug that guy back in, we got to go about 1.5 feet down there. So we need to remember that this wire also needs to go about 1.5 feet down. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring it back. If you notice, that's why I ran tape all the way out to here.
That's good to know, because I would have made it too short.
Some people probably have. So again, I'm going to strip about 3/4 inch wire. I have my little open here. I like to wrap the casing around the casing. Again, this gives a friction that'll help keep that wire there and it's not going to move. You know, 3 or 4 good wraps around that open copper, that is a solid connection. I don't care what anybody says. Get in here with our tape. Again, this is your insulator. This is what keeps everything safe. Shrink wrap is not an insulator. You're not going to shrink wrap this wire anyways. If you wanted to shrink wrap this wire, we're going to have to cut this wire open, which kind of defeats the purpose of trying to save a circuit. So again, we're going to do this nice and clean. I'm going to get my tape. I'm going to put our harness back together. I'm picky, I don't like these little flags on there. You can either cut it off, but I'm just going to keep going with another piece of tape. Nothing wrong, you could have tucked it down there like that, but when I'm done, ideally, it's not going to look like anything other than basic Ford. You know, so that's the idea. So we're going to send these back down the same way we came up. There are a few tabs and wires and things down here, so you do want to make sure you go back down the same way. What will happen if you don't is you're going to get wrapped around some stuff and your wires are going to shorten up on you. So tuck those down in there. Back up on your stool or bucket. Time to get personal with the truck again. So I have both plugs in my hand. I'm going to reach under. This part can require a little bit of patience and practice to get used to, because what you're trying to do right now is physically feel where those sockets are, because you can't see. So I've located my large socket and we've plugged that in. Make sure when you plug that in, you push until you hear that clicking noise. Last thing you want is this thing to come back off on you. We're going to feel around a little bit more. We're going to find our other socket. We're going to push that and click that in. Again, nice clicking noise. Our wires are good. We're tucked up into here. We're going to come in here with a bit of tape over on the other side. Often I like to use zip ties for this process. Unfortunately today I've misplaced my zip ties being here at the show. So we're just going to fold the wire back on itself in the same way it was. Helps keep things neat, fights you a little bit less. So at this point we got a nice little bundle here. We're going to tape that up so we don't have slack running around the truck. What I would typically do is zip tie it right here to this plug. Now see, I caught myself here. I don't like the way those wires go over the top. Like I said, I like to go underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug these and I'm going to send them back underneath. You can see real quick the kind of difference it makes in the overall look of the install. Some people might not care about this kind of thing, but your customer might. And you happen to have a customer that takes the time to look at it, he's going to appreciate the fact that you did this. So now we're going to get in here, and like I say, normally I would wrap a zip tie there. Today we're going to use some tape. It'll hold all right. Just going to secure this here. Pulling on your electrical tape as you wrap it helps activate the glue and make it stick better, just a little tip. And there you have it. We got to get this battery hooked back up. We can't do that here at the show right now, but once we do that, this is all going to come in. We'll add a little bit more tape to clean that up, get rid of our scraps, and there you have it. Those lights will function. So there you go. That's the wiring install for the 2018 F-150 Air Designs front bumper daytime running lights. Thanks for joining us down here at the Keystone Big Show, Texas.